Hi everyone, welcome and thanks a lot for joining me today and us today for this deep dive into the WordPress education programs. Just quick note about myself. I'm based in Barcelona, in Spain. I'm originally Italian, and I lead the WordPress Credits program, which is one of the programs we run in the WordPress community. And the goal of the program is to bridge academia with real life work opportunities, training opportunities, and most importantly, open source. This presentation for today, an overview of the points that I'm gonna touch. For those who might not be so into WordPress or so familiar, a quick mention to why we believe that WordPress is going to be fundamental to open doors for students, the mission of our education programs. I'm gonna show you and give you a few more details about each education programs that we currently run, an overview of where we are today, more or less 1 year after having launched our programs. I want to also to share some highlights from students that we were able to bring from remote activity into an in-person event, and also very very important to me, show you also how the different programs are connected to each other and how they can be adjusted depending on the institutions and the student needs. Well, okay, WordPress, for those who are used to work with it or know what it is the CMS that basically powers the web. So it's the most used online, used by passionate people, by beginners, by huge enterprises. And most importantly, WordPress has an active community of volunteers in more than 100 countries worldwide. What we're building with the WordPress community, we'll be building contribution and cooperation for years and years, and we see how impactful could be entering this community for students. Not because just, okay, the WordPress community would get their help, but because of the connection and the skills that contributing to WordPress helps students to build. The mission of WordPress is to democratize publishing. Our mission with the education program is to achieve the same goal through education. So we want to fill a gap that currently exists between traditional education institutions, academia, and the open source world, and open doors for job opportunities for students. The main point, the seed that sparkled all these different programs was the dream to give students opportunities to create their own path into the world and go beyond what they've been told 4 years at school or in class or at home, that if they choose a specific path, then in school, then their job opportunity would be limited at specific environment. No, we want to show the world that tech environments and open source are a perfect fit for anybody who decides to enter this space, regardless what they're studying. So not just for tech people, not just for developer, but there is a world that can enable any other profiles to find and create their own path. Right now, we have 5 program active. Give me 1 second that I need to remove okay. I could still see all of you on my screen and it was confusing. So I've reduced it. So I'm not able to see the chat or any of you. So please, if you need to stop me, just unmute yourself and talk. Okay, all right, coming back to the portfolio of program. In 2025, the WordPress community, with the support of the WordPress Foundation, launched different programs with different goals and targeting different type of needs. We have WordPress Credits, which is I'm gonna share more details of each one of them, but just for a quick overview, we have a program that aims to create practice, a way to practice on real world contributions. Then we have Campus Connect, which is more about in-person workshop on campus. We created the students clubs to provide students with a way of creating their own events on campus and learning peer-to-peer. We've developed training for teachers and faculty members, and we're now piloting also certifications. I always love to start with WordPress Credits because it's a program that I created. I had it in mind since the first moment I joined the WordPress community in 2022 when I was going through the onboarding at Automattic, the company that sponsored me to contribute to WordPress. And I was learning about the contribution teams and specifically the polyglot team. I studied translation and interpreting. I spent ages in college translating texts that nobody ever read, maybe just my teachers. And when I found out about the polyglot team, I discovered that there was already a huge network of translators translating WordPress and making it available instantly for any user who couldn't access the content in English. And for me, this was wow, like a huge moment. And in that moment, in February 2022, I started thinking, oh, this could be an internship. This could be type of exercise that I wish I could have done at school. And here is like the reason why I come up with WordPress credits. WordPress Credits it's a program that enables students to gain academic recognition by contributing to WordPress. Depending on the college or the school we partner with, they decide to present it as an unpaid internships. For others, is a mandatory practice before graduating. Others decide to embed the program into an existing course to add a practice part that joins the theory that they learn in class. The program is intentionally created to be adjustable to the different needs. What we absolutely want to achieve as WordPress Foundation through this program is to ensure to the students participating that the time and the work they do through this program are recognized by the college as part of the curriculum in any way that exists in that specific country or legislation, and so they can add this to their academic portfolio. Students can join a program, a condensed program of 50 hours or longer programs starting at 150 hours up to 400 hours, and they learn WordPress skills. They learn how to build a website on WordPress, and they learn and contribute to the WordPress contribution teams. They can decide what projects to pick up, and depending on what they're studying and their interests, and they get to work alongside other experienced contributors and other students. There is a mentorship program included in this program, and the students are paired with global mentors who are there to guide them and help them navigate the community and the open source ecosystem. The feedback that we are getting more and more from students is that, yes, there are messy situations, which I believe we know that are part of the open source world in general. And at the same time, the fact that they have to find their own way and also learn how to navigate different spaces, at the end, it provides them with way more skills that they thought they would acquire. And along the way, the program has been structured so that students have to intentionally take specific steps that would help them train and grow skills other than WordPress skills. So we talk about time management, project management, communication, problem solving, and reporting. And then depending on the specific contribution teams they decide, they're gonna also strengthen skills specifically related to the contribution area and the work they do. For WordPress Campus Connect, this was another huge new addition to the WordPress community, officially launched in 2025 after a pilot was run from the community in Ajmer, India, where they decided to test a new event format. So instead of organizing a WordPress conference that we call WordCamps and invite schools, they went on campus and they decided to organize with the faculty members in-person workshops for students. It was a massive success. They reached more than 400 students, and they refined the organization and the process, and so that it was launched as one additional official WordPress event in the community. The format can be adjusted depending on the needs of the campus. So it could be half-day workshop or multiple days workshop. And the idea is for the students to participate in hands-on activities and then provide at the end of the experience a piece of work completed or a specific achievement. There are different types of format. They can choose a few examples for beginners. This could be walk away with their first website created on their own. For more experienced students, it could be around WordPress contributions or a more complex project, one that students in Krakow, in Poland, worked on for the past months was to create, using WordPress, an app that could be used by younger students between 10 and 14 to learn about how to navigate internet and how to create a website using WordPress. And then it depends on the needs and interests of the school. The very important part in this type of event, it's also seeking the collaboration and the connection with the schools. This is why it is purposely designed to be hosted on campus, because also the idea is not for a school to send the students to an event with no type of follow-up, but to see how they can also, in their own infrastructure, organize, like bring in WordPress experts and help their students learn new skills. And the feedback that we're getting from the students is amazing, because they love the experience of having a different day in school, and they are learning from somebody other than their teacher. So in some cases, this allows them to feel more like relaxed. They don't feel the pressure of being assessed on what they're doing, but at the same time, they learn and they are proactive. Student clubs are deeply connected to the concept of a Campus Connect event. The community members who launched the idea of student clubs, they were thinking about, I always mention this because with broader audiences, I'm always unsure if everyone is like familiar with the concept of student club. I was not. In Italy, this is not a thing. And so I had to be explained what student club were. And then I also explained that, for example, in the States, it's something pretty common. You finish your your school time, and then on campus, students create their own clubs to work on specific goals or share a specific interest. It can be sports, it can be other things. I imagine with the curious community having a lot of academic people, you probably know this better than me. But yeah, this is a very easy explanation for those who are not familiar with the concept. So What we want to achieve is to enable students to create their own WordPress community on campus, where instead of getting a top-down type of learning where an expert comes and teaches something, or they go and do an apprenticeship and practice for WordPress professionals, instead, they get to decide what they want to learn more and discover more and explore more about WordPress with their peers. Um, this is also an excellent way for students to start develop leadership skills, organizational skills in an environment that feels way more relaxed than a WordPress meetup, for example, which is super relaxed and super informal, but still students go to an event, a small meeting where there are people older than them with way more experience than them. And so sometimes this can feel a little bit overwhelming. So with Students Club, we want students to create WordPress on their own, under their own terms. An example of how the active clubs have been working so far, some in schools where we have the WordPress Credits program active, for example, students would gather and work on their contribution project together. In other schools, they are organizing students clubs for students who have developed more deeper knowledge of WordPress and skills. They decide to teach WordPress to beginners. And here, like the sky is the limit. We want to provide them with the website that they can use to organize their events. And we just ask for one faculty member to be listed as point of contact in case then the students, of course, they graduate, they leave college. And so the club can be passed on to other students if they are interested. Facilitator training, this is something brand new. We've been cooking this idea for a while, like many, many months, thinking about, okay, we can't keep going towards students and wanting to empower them if we don't empower educators. This is where the facilitator training program comes up. The audience of this program are professors, faculty members, any other person, professional in the WordPress ecosystem who want to learn how they can run this program and guide students through the different programs. Right now, we have launched a WordPress facilitator training to lead the WordPress education programs, but there will be more to come. The program was created not just to fill maybe a need of a teacher who wants to start introducing these programs and run them by themselves on campus, but also we were thinking about the capacity building needs. There are countries or regions where teachers are required to take additional trainings to be able to get to the next steps in their teaching journey. This training and the trainings that will come under this program are supposed to also provide this. And of course, all the programs that I'm showing you today, of course, they are all free for facilitators, free for faculty members, students. And so this was also another way to provide academia with additional tools to expand their experience. And this time, instead of focusing only on students, we focus on the people who are those who are there constantly with students, and they put all their hours and efforts into empowering students. Well, we're here to empower you all as well. Last but not least, WordPress certifications. And here I have two pieces to mention. We have on one hand a pilot that has been running in the past months, which is the AI Leader WordPress micro-credentials. This pilot had in mind the idea of combining AI literacy, and WordPress skills. It has been run in the United States, 40 students. We're going to complete the program, and next week, if I'm not wrong, there will be the graduation ceremony in Chicago, and you can read more. I shared the link here, then I'm going to also share it in the chat. Or if somebody can grab it and then share it, fantastic.
I dropped it in.
Nice. I knew that you have done it. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Thanks. Um, at the same time, it's important to specify that when we talk about WordPress certification, certifications already exist. There are companies out there who have been issuing certification, but one meaningful piece that was missing and the WordPress community have been asking for it for years is for the WordPress Foundation to set up a standard board and define the standards for the WordPress certification. And I'm very excited to share that this work is currently in the making. The WordPress Foundation is creating and building a standard board with members from academia, members from the WordPress community, members with experience in all the different aspects that need to be taken into consideration when creating standards. And so once the standards will be published, then any company or entity would be able to submit their certifications, and then there will be a review, and so it would be possible to be listed as a certification approved by which standards are approved by the WordPress Foundation. Okay. Now, just a few numbers to show off how cool these programs are. Consider that everything was launched, the first program, Campus Connect, in April, May 2025. WordPress Credits program was announced in June 2025, and then we started enrolling students in September. And Students Club come along more or less the same period. Globally, with the different programs, we have already reached more than 100 institutions worldwide and more than 6,000 students. And it's fantastic and also gratifying to see that many institutions and many students are signing up every month. And it is important to mention, not just to, giving myself a congratulation and the rest of the team, but the fact that more institutions and more students keep enrolling in this program and repeating, most importantly, they repeat it, it means that it works, that we are doing an excellent job as providing students with something that was missing. And of course, this doesn't mean that everything is perfect. We learn a lot from student feedback. We're seeing every week things that needs to be adjusted or polished, or we see that some things are not working, and so we switch into other solution. And regardless of that, the different programs work, and every student is willing to get to the next step. So we are getting this feedback often. Okay, I've completed this. What can I do next? And this is fantastic to see. And well, I mentioned at the beginning how important it is for everyone working on this program to unlock meaningful opportunities for students, and not just creating a connection with the professional work environment, or to show them, which is something super important, to show them that they can achieve anything that they decide they want to achieve, regardless how their learning journey started. But we want also, in a world where we work in a remote distributed environment, we welcome students in a remote environment, and we ask them to work in async communication and learn how to work with people who are living in the other part of the world. We also want to show them the people behind the screen and to show them how meaningful it is when they can have an in-person connection with the people they've worked with for months remotely, and to see like the faces of the other people that have been positively impacted by all these activities and the open source community broadly. So it was fantastic when the WordCamp Europe organizing team let us know that there were sponsors, like companies of the ecosystem, willing to sponsor students to fly and stay in Krakow for 5 days to participate, actively participate at this event. So we were able to build, thanks to their support and also the students' effort and work, we were able to build and present at the event a students showcase session where high schools and universities from Krakow presented the website and the apps they had been building in the past months. We had program mentors and faculty members on stage giving talks explaining the experience and the different type of impact that the different programs have had on their students and their experience. Then there was the first test to have a WordPress Academy on site. The WordPress Academy was targeting WordPress beginner pupils, so very young students, regardless their attendance to the main event, but it was created inside events. So some of them could have decided to stay, others decided to leave after the workshop, and they joined. This was conducted in the local language because it was targeting local young students, and they had the first introduction to WordPress. They built for like their first website from scratch, and they had so much fun because the entire learning experience was tailored for them. From the WordPress Credits program, we had 5 graduates flying from Spain, Latvia, and Italy. They volunteered at the event. They participated at all the contribution activities in person, and then they attended the different side events, and that was fantastic. For us, it was fantastic to see them there actually enjoying and volunteering and already talking about the next event. And then the feedback they shared was incredible. Like this gave us another confirmation that combining online with in person is the most powerful action that we can take. Of course, if you want to read more about the education initiatives happened at WordCamp Europe 2026, and I imagine that you have already dropped this in the chat. If you did it, thanks a lot, and if not, I'll add it later. Okay, now last piece, and then I stop talking and I leave the floor to you all. I really wanted to show how and talk a little bit more on how the different pieces are connected. Of course, if you then are interested in learning more about a specific type of program, we share the resources. I'm available anytime. We can talk about it later or catch up in the upcoming days. But something that I care deeply about is to always show that even if you see 5 programs, and maybe you think that, okay, this looks like the easiest to implement. I'm gonna do this. And then a colleague tells you, oh, but I'm not interested in this program. I prefer this other. Okay, please be aware that it doesn't matter where you start. You can always start from one program and then decide to complement with another, or you can decide to stick to just one program and never connect with the others. Or every program has been built intentionally to allow a connection with the next steps. Practical examples. And also I see that the needs change in pretty drastic way, also depending on the culture and the approach of experimenting with academic experiences. Mm, in some countries, we notice that Campus Connect, so on-campus workshop, are always the first choice. No, like there are no institution who would want to even have a conversation about a different type of experience, for example, WordPress credits, without having had first an in-person workshop where they can meet in person the facilitators, the representative of the community, and have experienced this in-person connection. Okay, so it's perfect. They can run Campus Connect events, and then whenever they feel ready to discuss other programs, if they want to do it, perfect. For other schools, instead, having events on campus is really, really hard because the rules are different. There are different types of insurance or regulation that made it very, very hard for a teacher to organize a workshop beyond the classic working hours, or it is complicated to invite people from the outside in there. And at the same time, what they really, really need is internship opportunities for students or more ideas to give students hands-on activities during um, their hours in the classroom. Okay, so in this case, they would decide to go first with WordPress credits and either onboarding the students with us as a practice program or an internship, or they embed the module, like the program itself, into a course. And so they have the teachers completing the mentor training. And so they are able to start mentoring students, and this program become an activity that is done in the classroom. And the WordPress certifications, uh, where they fit in all of this? Well, if we think about opening up opportunities for students to enter the job market, if there are students with already experience and skill built on WordPress, the different levels that they might have, and they want to enter this type of market, WordPress certification would be the natural step for them. And so to ensure to have, okay, all the equipment that company might look for from new hires. And I talk a lot, so I really, really, really appreciate the curious community for the time. I'm ready and happy to discuss anything you'd like to comment in the Q&A and discussion session. So thank you so much. If you want to reach the education programs, you can do it via email at education@wordpressfoundation.org. If instead you want to connect with me, I'm easy to find online because I am the same username everywhere, is Peira Isotta, and the entire list of education programs can be found at wordpress.org/education.